Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. What's going on with Hertz? First, we hear they're buying 100,000 Teslas, and Tesla's stock price went on a tear and provided some momentum that finally released some of the pent-up anticipation of where the stock price is headed. But then Elon released some of the steam in the tweet, explaining that if this recent stock price jump is in fact to do with the Hertz deal, then the contract is not even signed, and also explaining that it makes no difference to Tesla, as it doesn't mean they'll sell any more cars, as the issue is Tesla cannot make enough cars. They can sell plenty. Tesla aren't looking for any extra customers. This will not increase their sales, which is exactly what I said in the video when the Hertz deal was first announced. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that this deal will obviously go through. But as a rocket scientist, I'm sure Elon does realise that too, but isn't as bothered by the deal as the rest of the market. Don't get me wrong, this is still very positive to Tesla stock and the company. It is serious validation, showing that a major rental company is transitioning to all electric, of course not just any electric, but Tesla, as if there was any other option. I mean, literally, who else can make 100,000 EVs just for one customer? Remember, volume production, that's really tough. How do I know this deal will go through? Well, the main objective of most CEOs, excluding CEOs that are founders or who have massively invested interest, they mainly want to get that stock price up, at least for as long as their career lasts. Just like we're seeing with some other CEOs as of recent, who come to mind like Mary Barra and Jim Farley. They're doing everything they can to prop up the GM and Ford stock price, one lie at a time. As some of you know, Hertz CEO Mark Fields was formerly the CEO of Ford. Just let that sink in for a second. He knows Ford very well, and the automotive industry, and he's now looking at betting the future of Hertz on Tesla. This is even further validation in the industry that Tesla is the future. And when this announcement occurred, Hertz stock price jumped from about $28 to as high as $40, which is a 40% increase in the stock price. In other words, the market and Hertz investors heavily approve of this move for the company. If Hertz decided to no longer go with the deal, then it would really hurt the stock, especially after the excitement of moving to electric and transitioning to the future of transport. Not to mention all the other potential opportunities for Hertz, especially when robotaxis come into fruition, along with its potential partnership with Uber. In addition to that, Hertz even have Tom Brady endorsing their Tesla fleet. That is a huge celebrity endorsement, implying Hertz are going all in on this. The deal is happening 100%. In fact, not just this deal, but this is just the start of it. I would say with an advertising campaign like this, we're bound to see Super Bowl ads from Hertz too, telling everyone that Tesla is their favourite car. That's right, 100,000 is going to be just the first order. Before the pandemic, Hertz had around 500,000 vehicles in their fleet. It's reduced down to over 400,000 now. Well, what are the chances that Hertz will eventually go all in with Teslas? Well, what are the chances that Hertz will eventually go all in with Teslas and replace their entire fleet? I would say quite likely, at least in the countries where Teslas are easily enough available and within time. I'd say Hertz would possibly order some Model Ys too, as Model 3s will take too long to deliver still. Wow, can you imagine something like almost 500,000 orders for Tesla, and Hertz only keep their fleet for about a year, or no longer than 2 years, so perhaps they could change it out over the next couple of years. Rental car companies don't keep rental cars for very long. Their customers expect relatively new cars to drive, at least the major rental companies like Hertz. Oh right, they replace the cars regularly, don't they? So what does that mean again? Hertz might order 500,000 cars from Tesla every couple of years or so? Yeah, it really does. If they went all in with Tesla, so maybe even 100 to 200,000 Teslas a year could actually be on the cards from one customer. Yeah, Teslas don't need any more sales, and it just makes it harder for the private consumer to buy a Tesla as it increases waiting lists. But at the same time, it gets bums in seats, and 50% of the time, that's what sells cars. You just need to get them in the car. But then to experience a Tesla for the first time, and so many more people instantly realize that this is the future, and their existing car is so antiquated, they can't ever go back and only ever want a Tesla from now on. Well, that's only going to further increase demand. In fact, this is one of the reasons Legacy Autos gives such good discounts to rental car companies, as it gets them more customers, as more people experience their cars. But it's one thing experiencing the latest BMW for the first time, it's another level experiencing your first Tesla, which takes us back to Elon's tweet. This will only further exacerbate the supply issue, as it will increase demand even further. But wait, there's more. Do you think it will stop there, as far as rental car companies purchasing Teslas? What if the others start to realise all the benefits too, like Avis? And what just happened to Avis's stock price overnight? It doubled. Could it be that they're also considering the transition too? And then all the other rental car companies follow suit again? Maybe. This would be like people still using Nokia phones and then they get to experience an iPhone all of a sudden and realize, oh right, yeah, this is much better. This is what the future looks like. This makes sense. And still only scratching the surface of what these cars are capable of. Remember, these orders are Model 3. Now, Elon tells us Model Y will sell more than the Toyota Corolla, i.e. over 2 million cars a year. Most people infer this as 2 million cars a year, but he clearly says more than, which implies over 2 million a year. Whether it's 3 million or 5 million, we don't know, especially over time when there is possibly a version under $40,000. But the rental car companies will order more Model 3s most likely, mainly because they're cheaper, but I think that this is also where the demand is highest for rentals, just standard size sedans. Well, if that's another 200 to 500,000 Model 3s a year sold or something, then all the additional customers that discover the Model 3 by renting it and then also want to buy a Model 3, and I believe one day that the Model 3 should get down to around $35,000, and more people eventually realise that without the running cost of an ICE car and all the other savings with a Tesla like insurance, that the Model 3 is the equivalent of about a $10,000 ICE car. In other words, is there any reason the Model 3 couldn't also hit around 2 million sales a year? I'm starting to think so. The Model 3 is a great car. It's faster, cheaper, has longer range and handles better than a Model Y. Perhaps it could be a bigger seller than the Model Y. But Tesla are supply constrained, so they're ramping up the higher margin models first. And I'm not talking about today's Model 3. No, I'm talking about one with die-cast molds and Tesla's own in-house batteries. And at $35,000, it's a bargain, especially if you start looking at any ICE equivalent. And especially if you also add the other cost savings. We all say Tesla will hit 5 million vehicles a year by such and such, and this usually excludes the advent of the compact Tesla. But I rarely ever hear anyone break down these models, because no one wants to go out on a limb and say 3 million Model Ys, or 2 million Model 3s, or 1 million Cybertrucks, because these numbers are so high, it's hard to believe, and people will laugh at you. Well, the laughing has stopped. Now we're free to speculate as we so like, without the fear of ridicule, as now everyone's minds have been blown into a state of disarray. Except sometimes the numbers still get so big, it's hard not to trim them back a little bit. And although Teslas will last over 1 million miles and stay up to date, does that mean that people will hold on to them longer? This is a cult brand. They'll be superfans, just like some Apple lovers buy a new iPhone every time the latest model is launched. Well, what about Tesla fans too? Even the latest Model 3 has extra features that weren't present a few years ago. Nothing overly major, but some people may just want to buy the new one, because it now has something like Chrome Delete. Wow, what a waste of money, right? Updating your car every year just because there are a few extra features. But if it's a Tesla, then it probably didn't even depreciate that much to begin with. So to stay up to date with the latest Tesla is a lot cheaper than keeping up to date with, say, the current year's Mercedes, like Steve Jobs used to do. I think it was a Mercedes S600, and he would always buy the latest one, except every 3 months, which meant he never had to have a license plate on his car. Anyway, if old Teslas do get replaced for new Teslas more regularly, it means it adds to the global fleet faster, the more people update their cars, as long as Tesla can eventually keep up with demand. Then the fact they drive over 1 million miles means they'll stay on the road longer anyway, and then they're recycled. So yeah, just more good news about this company, almost any way you look at it. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.